the things I'm most inspired by is our Emerging Leaders program. It's working well because we've developed it with the communities, with the young people and the senior leaders, and we're continuing to refine it. So we don't have a lot of good data.
And what is the impact of that for your work, do you think? I mean, operationalising that, the Indigenous data sovereignty component and governance on this. So what are the impacts of not having access to the data, and what do you think the future could look like if you did?
Look, I think the main impact is we take what we can get and we try to use that as the basis for conversations with people about the value of data. So certainly when I talk to my team, I'm always saying that part of our job is an education job. It's about working with Aboriginal organisations, it's about working with communities to kind of keep having these conversations about why it's important to have data. You know, it's not the only thing, but without it, it's a lot harder to really validate things that you might assume are happening or connections that you might think are driving things. So we keep kind of trying to chip away at it. We keep using what we've got, and we keep acting like we're going to get what we need, as a way of trying to build, you know, structures around monitoring and evaluation into the work that we do, so that people see the need for it and appreciate it. And I think to some extent we're having success in that. Conversations are different now than they were 7 years ago around data and the need for data. And we're seeing organizations do more in looking at their own data and thinking about it, and thinking about their need for both baseline data and outcome data to be able to demonstrate the change that they're trying to achieve, both for themselves, but also for communities and governments. We work with government to kind of consolidate the data about the programs, about the providers. We've created a process now where the providers actually come in and talk to the group. Now, when that group comes together, the Anangu group that we've been working with now for around 3 or 4 years, often their question is, well, there's not enough data for us to tell how effective this is. So they're saying all the time, we want more data. We want more focus on outcomes, not just activities. So yeah, I kind of hope that we're seeing from lots of different perspectives this acknowledgement of the importance of better processes, of better focus, about better systems for gathering data, for analysing data, for visualising data, for actually using it appropriately. But like this huge kind of change management exercise to help people understand, you know, we're all in this together, and there'll be some missteps, but if we approach it in that kind of open way of saying, well, it's a first step on a journey, and being more transparent, sharing more data, you're going to actually be surprised at what you learn. And it's going to really, you know, it's going to offset those fears that you might have. I'll just share with you, I think one of the missing pieces though for me is that within communities, I feel like we need to have a focus on building some capability, some structures around kind of issue resolution, or because there's so much trauma that people have experienced individually and as families, and often I feel like it plays out in kind of undermining some of the shared work that we need to do. And so, you know, having a mechanism where in communities, you know, in regions, we are more equipped to help ourselves manage that. I feel like that's really critical to really kind of get the best chance for the best future, but also because you see it often used as the kind of the tool to undermine progress. Is, oh, well, there's not agreement, there's these groups, they're fighting, they don't understand, they won't come together, so let's not do anything. You know, I really feel like one of the investments we need to make is really helping ourselves have mechanisms to work through the way that trauma plays out in communities, in families, in organisations, in regions. Yeah, I think what I see locally, so not just here but in the other Empowered Communities regions, is the next generations who are coming, who really, you know, have had the benefit of kind of being educated and informed through more mainstream education, but who have that fire inside them around kind of, this is an opportunity, this is a transformational moment. How do we really make something happen? And so I feel like that's the thing that makes me the most positive. I think we're still a ways off. You know, I think there's still a lot of work to do, and even, you know, this iteration around the voice and all of that, I feel like that's got a long way to go. But what we've got, I feel, is more and more Aboriginal people who are inspired and educated to fight the fight.